And the third presentation, it will be presented by DeMarco, and the paper is titled Venture, a virtual and physical experimental towing center for the design of energy efficient seafaring vessels. DeMarco, are you ready for your presentation?
I sure am. Thank you very much. I suppose you're seeing my shared screen, so that should be good.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
So the floor is yours. You can start.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to show you and explain our H2020 Venture project. As you correctly said, Venture is the acronym for a virtual and physical experimental towing center for the design of energy efficient seafaring vessels. As you can see, that Venture is in fact a partnership of three universities: University of Malta, Strathclyde and Genoa, and a Maltese industrial partner, Naval Architectural Service. The Venture project is in fact a twinning project, which basically focuses on increasing the scientific excellence, research and innovation capacities and profile. University of Malta is in fact the project coordinator, and I am the project leader. The project is 3 years long and started in January 2020 and will end in 2022. Now, as a very brief description, there were a couple of names. Here are the working group, the active members in the Venture team. Perhaps you can recognize some of your Turkish counterparts, also in this partnership. So what is Venture? Venture is a program that, obviously, because it is twinning, involves many activities and events for all sorts of people: the academics, technical staff, researchers, and even the general public. And basically, it is divided into 4 main sections. So let us start looking at them very quickly, and I'll just give you a bit of an overview. Let's look at the first one: enhancing scientific and technological capacity. This is a twinning project, and therefore this involves a lot of courses and places for training. So the work package of enhancing scientific and technological capacity basically has some specialist courses, a platform for training, some visits, short visits from Malta to the other universities, partner visits, expert visits, and even technician lab visits. To raise a research profile of the University of Malta and all the other universities, we have developed research groups. Obviously, networking activities is very important, conferences like we are here today, and also cooperation between University of Malta and the maritime industrial partner in Malta itself. To be able to build the human capacity, if you wish, of the maritime professional and academic innovators, the development is of postgraduate research students. So we have conferences, exchanges, mentoring and supervision, secondments, schools, development of joint MSc products, and also training networks. And obviously, any good H2020 project requires some communication, dissemination, and exploitation plans through websites, electronic media, so that we can obviously showcase what the Venture project is all about. And obviously, we always scientific publications, and for that we also have an online repository. So let us very briefly see perhaps a couple of items in these 4 different groups. So the short specialist courses, we have a number of short specialist courses. We've already had one in July 2020, led by the University of Strathclyde, of the physical towing tank testing for the prediction of ship resistance and propulsion. Obviously, physical means experimental technologies and techniques, and we are focusing on ship resistance measurements and prediction in this particular short specialist course. The second short specialist course, which has just taken place, is the virtual aspects of the physical course we had last year, and this was just held. So it's talking about theories, numerical methods, And during the course, we had tutorials of lots of different examples on how to virtually predict the ship resistance and propulsion. And here we have a couple of snippets from the courses themselves. We have one that is coming up right now. Perhaps next week. It is going to be held in Genoa, led by the University of Genoa, and it's about the virtual tow tank testing prediction of ship hydrodynamics, focusing on safekeeping. Obviously, we're looking at the modeling, we're looking at numerical methods and models, and therefore we are also going to have a couple of hands-on examples also, and tutorials and demonstrations, you know, and workings on the virtual aspects of the ship hydrodynamics. In fact, we have 6 in total. The virtual hydrodynamic, the virtual course came before the physical one, and University of Strathclyde is going to lead this physical short specialist course. We then have 2 further, which is the state-of-the-art measurement, calibration, and data analysis techniques. And finally, we'll have another final school on the virtual towing tank applications after we have learned all this applications in the marine industry. And that will be led by the Maltese industrial partner, Naval Architectural Services. We also have short-term visits. Unfortunately, this was exactly when COVID hit. And instead of actually visiting the University of Strathclyde, we had an online visit, if you wish, led by Edinburgh Designs. Everybody who deals with tow tanks have obviously heard about Edinburgh Designs, and we had a very enjoyable 3 days on how to design and spec a towing tank. Why do we want to design and spec a towing tank? Because the University of Malta is in fact investing in its own towing tank. Amongst the many towing tanks that we looked at during this course, one particular of interest was the Cranfield University, simply because what we are designing is roughly of the same specifications of about 30 meters long, 1.5 meters wide, you know, and about 2 meters deep as well, for about the same design maximum speed. So that was a very interesting 3 days short-term visit, if you wish. As you can see, we have perhaps 3 other visits as well. Next week, we are going to Genoa to do how to operate and use towing tanks as academic, education, and industrial tools, to see how Genoa will do this. And then we have 2 other visits. One about the cavitation tunnel, again to Genoa, and another at Strathclyde on how to combine CFD with EFD. We also have, at one of our visits, have a partner industrial visit. And basically, NAS is our industrial partner in Malta. And we had the first visit, and basically they showcased all the activities and services that they carry out in the company, and also highlighted the different sectors and work within the maritime industry within Malta, where we had a lot of researchers following this very interesting partner industrial visit to see where they can also work in Malta and perhaps also further afield. We have due some experts visits where we'll have visitors coming to the University of Malta, and our technician and lab staff visits, unfortunately, could not take place because of all the travel restrictions, and we hope that eventually, very soon, this will start up and run. So, moving on, how are we going to raise the research profile of the University of Malta and all the other universities? We have created 3 different research groups, and each research group is to produce a case study every year. So the first resistance and propulsion group in the first year, we looked at the hull roughness on the ship resistance. We investigated a wiggly hull with experimental results and compared them with CFD. The second case study of this resistance and propulsion group, which is currently running, is the numerical and experimental, following the ITC guidelines to predict the prediction of high-speed craft in self-propulsion condition. And we're discussing the resistance tests, experimental and numerical, open water propeller tests, experimental and numerical, and obviously propulsion tests. The next research group is the sea keeping and maneuvering. That was the first case study, and we were looking at the interactions between two ships during an overtaking maneuver or an encountering operation, both in open sea and even in inland waterways. The second case study for this sea keeping and maneuvering group is to investigate the effects of hull, propeller, rudder interactions. It's a classical, if you wish, research for ships and for academic institutions. The third group is the combined CFD and EFD methods. The first one was basically to investigate the effects of ship velocity on hull form, and this was done through numerical methods and simulation. The second current case study of this group is the analysis of propellers in oblique flow, looking at the bearing forces and with and without cavitation. Okay, so obviously this is presently looking at the the computational, and seeing how we're going to convert all these the forces and all the motion over the propeller experimentally. And here you can see the ideas of the cavitation and the simulation model. One way of raising the research profile is to publish very early on, when the project just started, before we even heard the word COVID, probably. We had the whole consortium in Malta, and Professor Tess Dorian from the University of Strathclyde gave us a very good seminar on how to get published. Obviously, to raise a research profile, we have annual postgraduate seminars. We have joint proposal strategies with Genoa, with Strathclyde, with NAS. We have applied for funding through the Transport Malta and Malta Marittima, and we have been awarded the MARSA funds for 2 projects. And we have also won in Malta, every so often, it's not an annual thing, the national contact point of the Horizon 2020 program awards H2020 projects with outstanding potential and capabilities, and the venture project won this award. Obviously, we also want to look for regional funding in Italy, and there's a Sea Future event next week where we are going to discuss a lot of regional funding and international funding, Horizon Europe. So we are looking for even partners for Horizon Europe, where we can see over here, which is the last point, we are going to be looking for, we're going to network for possible partners for joint doctoral programs for if you want the Horizon Europe standard joint doctoral program. Obviously, to build professionals and innovators, our students and other students need exchanges, supervision, and also secondment to industries. And obviously, it will be nice that if there is a joint framework of a MSc program between the universities, and that can widen everybody's knowledge, everybody's experience, and bring them all together. We also have some schools. We've had a data analytics school. We've had a CFD for maritime applications, and also a dynamic simulation of marine systems. Obviously, I mean, you can read what they're all about, but basically, in a nutshell, we've had 3 of the 6 schools. We have the boundary element method on hydrodynamics still to come, how to build a successful research career for our researchers, and energy efficiency in marine engineering applications. Obviously, with all this work, as any H2020 project, as any university would like to do, as any academic would like to do, obviously within, these, if you want, 15 months, we've managed to have we've got 5 journal publications, and we've also managed to get, I believe there are 12 conference papers. Yes, there are 12 conference papers already generated by our consortium, so that's pretty good going in a matter of 15 months. Obviously, we have our own website. It's h2020venture.eu. Every time we have an event, obviously we put up an electronic newsreel and explain. Obviously, if you do have chance, please do visit it. There are a lot of interesting things to show. And obviously, besides having our email address, we have our email address. And obviously, besides having our website, we will also post on Facebook. So perhaps if you look H2020, you can like the Facebook. You can also like our LinkedIn to keep yourself informed. And when we have something to tweet, we will tweet it away. Okay, so that's all for me. I hope you found our project interesting. It's been going along quite honestly. Also with the COVID, we've managed to progress quite through it. So it is very encouraging, but obviously now we're looking forward to being able to travel, because it seems that travel is now really on the uptake. So again, thank you very much for allowing me to present. And I hope if you have any questions, you would just ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, DeMarco. It was a nice presentation. Due to the COVID, it was not possible to see you here, but for the next Congress, we are waiting.
I would have loved. Yes.
We are waiting for you the next one, okay?
Okay, will do, definitely. I'll take you up on it.
I'm curious about that, the CFD analysis that you carried out. So you used a commercial CFD package, right?
Yes, we did. Star CCM. It's normally the platform used by University of Strathclyde and Genoa.
Okay. And is it possible to learn the budget of the project?
It's 900,000 in total.
Oh, okay.
It's not remember, this is a twinning program. It is not a research program. So the twinning involves networking, traveling, meeting people, and learning. It involves a lot of travel.
Okay. Thank you again for your nice presentation. Any other questions from other participants? Not for now. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So